7 kingdoms will follow.
Hello, friends, and welcome to the big ticket interview for Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. I am sitting next to the stars, Jason Momoa and Patrick Wilson, and I have been practicing holding my breath for this deep dive, guys.
I see what you did.
Jokes are gonna get so much worse from here. In all sincerity, though, as I was prepping for this interview, I was thinking about how Aquaman wasn't really taken as seriously until you held the Triton. He was pretty campy in the comics. We've seen parodies of him get made fun of in shows like The Boys. To some people, Aquaman's like a funny fictional movie from the show Entourage. Yep. And it wasn't until a decade after that that the both of you really helped to bring his story to life. So much so, with like so many layers and complexity, that to this day, Aquaman is the highest grossing DC film of all time. And
How about that?
How about that? And it's
Put
truly
down your
a
smoking
testament.
pipe.
That just sounds so good with your stuff.
I know.
But it's truly a testament to the both of your abilities and really this entire team's to take something that a lot of people thought was cheesy and make us all go, man, this guy's pretty cool. So I'm excited to talk to you about him, starting with you, Jason, because I feel like there's so much of you in him. I was reading that the exterior set of Arthur's house was actually dressed with your own motorcycles.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about how like you're a dad and now Arthur's a dad. So what was it like for you to infuse, you know, that dad part of you into Arthur this time around?
Well, I think that's, you know, after the first one, I wanted to, I wrote an idea and pitched it to them because I think it's beautiful to be like this half man, half superhero, or half Atlantean who doesn't want to be king, but is destined to be king, and at the same time falls in love with a woman, has to, you know, take on these duties which he doesn't know shit about. He's been this reluctant king for so long, and he's kind of a, you know, just not the right guy for it, but he's destined to do that, and have a baby while you're doing all at the same time, and then kind of be like a single parent, like just. I didn't even say single parent. That's what my father was, but I just liked that complexity of it, and just being humbled by taking advice from my father, like just how I was raised with a single parent. Yeah. And so there was just a lot of things I wanted to dive into for the character, and also with this guy, just getting over our differences, like having this idea, like having a brother, knowing what he's like, what it would be like down there, and just imagining what Atlantis would be like, and just all this life that he never was raised in, and then to meet him and he's an ass, and then to be able to overcome our differences, to come together, and just what we all need, like to overcome our differences and realize we need to come together to save something that's greater than us. Yeah. And I think it's a really fun adventure, and just I think people can relate to it. And so, as an actor, I wanted to dive into those things, and being a father, which are some of the better parts of me, and to be able to share that. We're both fathers, and I think it just makes it more human. And
I'm excited to see that father side of you come out, and also all the Aquaman daddy memes that are gonna come out of this. Like, are you ready for that?
I'm not ready for that. I just don't think that way because I'm old. But I think it's really cool. Like, I just got to see. I just watched the movie with my kids, and it really was beautiful. Like, you get to see my character get pretty excited watching his son talk to fish. And he's just like, no one else has that power. And everyone makes fun of him. And that's the reason why everyone is like, dude, you talk to fish. But I'm like, well, I talk to the ocean. I talk to everyone that's in the ocean. And I think it is a beautiful gift. Yeah. And he gets to see his kid doing it. And obviously I light up because you just need to make it that thing. I've been alone for so many years. I'm like, God, the things I'm going to show you, the things that I've had to keep to myself that no one can kind of understand my power. Yeah. They make fun of it. I mean, the whole movie starts with this silly. I mean, it's like, hey, I'm Aquaman. I talk to fish. People say that's stupid, but I'm like, but it's not. I think it's pretty cool. You know, what I mean? So it's you know, he's the laughing stock of being a superhero. But I hope we make it fun, and I mean that's the whole point of it, and also connecting with our environment, connecting with our world and animals. I mean, they know way more than we do. So I think it's if you stop making fun of me, it's actually a cool thing.
Yeah, it is. Agreed. And we're confirming that Aquaman is the daddy of the Justice League for sure. But
I don't know what that means.
It's okay, guys. It's going over.
He is, isn't he?
He is.
Holy.
Wow, we just discovered that.
Just discovered that. Well, that's because we sit by a campfire.
That's right.
And we're just connecting right now.
You know, I can't wait to see that dad part of you come out through the character. And also, I know you were born in Hawaii. I was watching a video of the premiere of Aquaman, the first movie that took place in Hawaii. And Jason, you were doing a Maori haka chant. And you got pretty emotional while doing it. I know that you guys got to shoot some of this film in Hawaii, unlike the last film. Are we going to get to see more of your heritage come through Arthur? Because that's my favorite part about it.
Yeah, well, it's cool. I mean, I fought for it, and you know, there's moments where it comes through, and then some of it we didn't make the cutting room floor, but we worked hard to try to have it in there. So
there's so much of him in there.
Yeah,
that's the thing about it is I think because you had this clean slate because of all the history with Aquaman that was really neither here nor there. We didn't have a frame of reference like you mentioned from TV shows or the opinion of Aquaman.
Right.
So it really gave him this clean slate to be like to pull the character to him. You know what I mean? And that's when he really takes off because you see so much of his personality and his heart. You know, as an actor. So when you've got the space to give of yourself, you know, and he's got so many ideas. Clearly, that made it into the film. You know, the conception of the sequel. That's the way to do it. Is when you can really just shape the whole series around him. That's what makes it special and unique because there's no one like him.
So perfectly said, and you feel that viscerally through the screen, but also with you, Mr. Patrick Wilson, because you, my friend, have such range. I mean, from Broadway musicals to your directorial debut for Insidious: The Red Door, slaying at it. I love watching you as Orm. You make him feel so Shakespearean in this like operatic epic adventure that is Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Last movie, you were the main villain. This time you're working side by side with Arthur as brothers. What was it like switching that up for you? And does Orm still have resentment towards Arthur in this movie?
Well, you'll have to see.
Again, said so well with the staff.
Yeah, everything works with the stash
so
and
good.
chops. I know, it's ridiculous. And I love to say, people say, oh, you going out for something? Nope.
Gee willikers, Patrick.
Yeah, no, just for me. Well, you know, that was the thing with the first film is even though he was the main villain, I guess, in the first film, you knew where he was coming from. You knew that he too was fighting for fighting for Atlantis, fighting for what he believed in, fighting for the environment. And there's a lot of common bond between these two. Even though they go about it completely different ways, they certainly have that common bond of protecting their own. So it was actually just a natural fit to sort of how that would translate into them now fighting the main villain, who's Black Manta. So, you know, but it's not all sunshine and roses. It's certainly a pretty tumultuous relationship.
I mean, but name a better underwater duo than Aquaman and Ocean Master, aside from Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. Obviously.
Solid reference.
I'm excited to see you guys do that sort of buddy cop banter, and I hope we get to see scenes with you and Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, who plays Black Manta. As a fan of Watchmen, he's your Night Owl too. He's our latest Dr. Manhattan.
Very
it's
true.
so cool. But equally as elated that you guys both teamed up with James Wan, the legend, who's known for his horror filmmaking. You're obviously celebrated as Ed Warren in the Conjuring universe. Remind me to ask you about this ghost in my apartment later.
Gotcha.
But this is James's second superhero film, coming back after directing the first one. So what's the best part about working with the James Wan? For both of you.
Oh, God.
I mean, he works for them all the time. So I'm going to start with him.
Yeah, I think this is my 6th movie with James.
Really?
Yeah. I what's exciting to see, if I go back just in my own history with James, and, you know, the first film that I did with him, which was the first Insidious movie, which was made for like under $1 million, you know, cut to this movie that's considerably more. To see someone grow he's constantly pushing himself. He's constantly trying to push himself technically, and emotionally, I think, in movies. So each movie, he never wants to do the same thing again. So even though we've come back to this world and this character, what can we do new with him? Which I think is probably to the point of Jason, like, okay, let's take a lot of Jason's ideas, throw that into the grinder with what James brings to the table. And I think he's a person that definitely has the focus and vision of the kind of movie he wants to make. But I think, like most great collaborators, he takes a lot of I won't say advice, but certainly ideas from the room, which is a real strength. Yeah,
I think he's a real visionary. I mean, he really comes in with that. He builds these worlds, and so even when I had to switch over from Zach to James, you know, two totally different directors, two totally different styles, but nevertheless, like really world builders. And he knows what he wants, and that's nice to be able to know someone who's got a vision and quite big vision. So, and then once you find your style together, and we work really well when it's when we could like. I think he's pretty accepting for everything. Like, you take notes really well. I don't.
I don't know.
And you know, he's a great actor. He's a really great actor, and so it's a little more challenging for me on sometimes. And so me and James have, like, on the second one, it's been really fun because there's two different. The first one was like such different styles of how we do stuff.
True.
Like it was very hard for me to. I'm just a lot more free and stuff like that. And so once James knew that, he's like, oh yeah, just let him play, because that's where you're gonna find me at my best.
Yeah.
And then when I'm free, and then he can rein it in, and he can really like more putty it.
Yeah.
Where if I am told what to do, and like in a certain way, you're losing all the best parts of me. And then as a insecure actor or a human, I kind of go in where he's so free, and it's really beautiful to work with. And he held me where it's just like, he's just like, oh yeah, I'll do that. Of course I'll do that. I'm like, here to play. I'm here to play. And where for me I haven't acted as long as him. He really, or his experience, I get to learn a lot from him in that. So, but we've really found that in this one, where it's funny.
Yeah.
It's fun, and it's fun being with him. And Yaya's amazing. It sucks he's a bad guy, but I'm like, we have a lot of fun. And he's, and he's phenomenal in it. I think he's really beautiful and strong in it. So we have a really good thing going. So, and I feel like James just, he got to just kick back and watch us play, and he built the whole world for us to play in. So
Yeah, it's a good point.
You guys feel like real brothers sitting next to you. And I love your answer to that. That was so like vulnerably shared. And I feel you're a fire sign. I know you're a 7 on the Enneagram, and you're a Leo.
What the f does that mean?
I don't know. What is
your
that?
energy type, and they love freedom. Anyways, my bosses
Seven
are
is
going to kill me.
7 on a who and a what?
No, the 7 C's. Anyways, back to the interview. You mentioned world building with James Wan. He's such a master at world building, right? But this man's also just such a genius at scary stuff. Like,
that's
the trench scene from the first movie lives rent-free in all of our heads. I still picture that red orb going deeper and deeper into the ocean and all the sea monsters surrounding it. Can you tell us, Jason, about some of the new creatures and worlds that we're going to meet and explore in the Lost Kingdom?
I mean, there's I mean, it's a whole new slate, so it's wonderful. I mean, like, look how diverse our ecosystem is now. I just made a film about deep sea mining and all the what we've uncovered with our cameras and what we can film now, and so it's wonderful to dive into the unknown. Like, we don't know anything about our deep, and so it's beautiful to be able to take these kids and go on an adventure and like show all these new worlds. So there's quite a few, and I mean, we're in so many different environments, from the desert to like
the dark jungle I was reading about.
Absolutely.
Sounds so dope.
Total Dagobah vibes in there.
The ice, you know, and the.
I think we're in every environment.
Yaya's world too.
And with all these worlds, there's so many cool effects that go with it. And we've seen such incredible technological marvels when it comes to underwater filming recently in movies like Avatar 2, Wakanda Forever. I know for the first film, you guys used blue screen staging and tuning fork framing. For this film, was there anything different that you used this time around?
Oh my God,
technology-wise?
We cried. We cried.
Okay. What'd you guys
We're
use?
good.
What'd you
We good.
Say less.
I'm
less.
We did great for this new one. It's like, I couldn't believe it. You just step in a box and give a couple faces
eyeline.
and like
the eyeline.
Yeah, the eyeline.
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about the Eyeline Studio? You guys were referring to a circular booth that was really
Yeah,
cool.
I think Flash was the first one to use it, and then it went to us, and it's.
And what is it exactly?
I mean, you step into a circular room.
Circular room with LEDs, with LED screens around it. So unlike when you do the very layman's terms, like when you do motion capture, it basically captures your bones, right? Because you got lights on them, and they get your figure, and then they have to build around that.
Yeah.
I'm totally bastardizing this, but I think it's true. So you're playing this scene, and there's tons and tons of cameras that are built within this circle of LED screens. So you can play. You're actually looking at kind of like a cartoon version of you.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but
it captures everything.
Yeah, but you'll be over there, and I'm having the conversation with you. So they'll
so
play
it
the
gets
video
his
game.
angle like
You're basically
this.
inside a video game.
You're inside a video game.
It sounds like it was a lot more comfortable to shoot this time around for you guys, as
It was.
the
Yeah.
Aquaman suit that I was reading about.
Let's bring it back. Like this Aquaman was compared to like I had to do Batman vs Superman. I had to do Justice League.
Yeah.
That was like that was primitive.
Yeah.
It
was.
primitive.
Well, I'm so
Yeah.
happy we got here.
it's so
I was
true.
also reading with the suit, James Wan looked to the Silver Age comics for a lot of the design and aesthetic
Yeah.
for this one, and I love those comics. I love that Arthur calls his baby Aqua Baby in those. But I was reading costume designer Richard Sales said he used a lot
Yeah.
of lighter materials, and that it took 3 people 3 months to place
Yeah.
each scale onto your suit. How do you feel wearing it, Jason? Like, do you just feel like such a badass in the suit?
Well, the first
Wait, why are you laughing?
because the first week you're like, yeah, I mean, you put it on, you can't help but transfer into this energy, and it's wonderful. And then reality sinks in, and you're like, get me the out of this thing because you're in your own soup for all day, and it weighs a lot. Like there's no actor's chair, you just lay down, like because you can't mess the outfit up.
Oh, so you literally
You
have
can't
to
bend
lay
over. You can't do
between
anything.
sides?
I mean, it looks fabulous, but you can't do anything.
That's what I have to do every day.
Yeah.
And I have to have a fight suit on because we're just going to tear them up. So there's probably a shift of people fixing it because, I mean, I got to do these fights and you got to run around and do you. And it's not easy to do in the suit. So
I mean, kudos to you because there's nothing more demoralizing than taking off a wetsuit, for me personally, anyway.
Right.
and I have to get out of stuff in between. I have to have those
Yeah,
little
yeah,
breaks.
yeah,
Like
for
he,
sure.
he'll
Just have to
he.
be comfortable.
It was like
Well, mine was
William
easy.
Dafoe will like just park up
Yeah.
and like he'll be in, but he's
Well,
all
but
like
he
yoga
didn't-
mind. He would just
yeah.
he's like he loved that.
He
could
didn't
just,
have
like,
any. He didn't have like the tight muscle suit, kind of like me on
Yeah.
on this one. It
Yeah.
was basically like a costume.
Yeah,
He also
I
weighs.
like
He
that.
also weighs as much as my leg.
That is
So
very
when we're
true.
hanging up by her,
He's like a buck toy.
I'm
It's
like,
true.
bro, you can stay up here.
Yeah, no,
I'm
it's
like,
not
and you have
meant
what
for people
3
over
days of
200
work?
pounds.
I'll be here for 4 more months.
That's so funny. Yeah, because Patrick, yours was a stark contrast in the royal costume we saw. I saw
Yeah.
you're in like a near dark purple sort
Yeah,
of
sort
foot
of like
soldier aesthetic.
Yeah,
I
it's
would
kind of
call
like a
it.
military.
Yeah, yeah.
Looks good.
Yeah, it's
You
cool.
wore the stash with it too.
Totally. that would have been
So
amazing.
good. Oh, you didn't.
Yeah, no, I did not.
Oh, bummer.
No, yeah, I did not. Mine was easy on this film. I lucked out.
Good. I'm excited to see them because costumes are my favorite part of Aquaman and just like any underwater world. But for Jason, I know I speak for a lot of fans when I say it's kind of gnarly for us to see you in the suit because you just are Aquaman, protector of the seas in real life. Like you founded an aluminum water bottle company to end single plastic use.
Yeah, can I have one?
You're a United Nations environmental ambassador for Life Below Water. You mentioned, a documentary that you made, Deep Rising. You also narrated one called Waterman. There it is.
Pretty cool, huh?
No, we just got these
In the theater.
It's
I was
great.
super proud of that.
It is stunning.
Very
incredible.
thankful for DC and Warner, joining in.
Yeah.
To help stop it.
It's so cool. Like it's for me. It feels like where does Jason end and Aquaman begin? And Patrick was kind of like talking about that. He must mean so much to you. What are you gonna miss most about playing Aquaman?
That's the one thing I was just kind of hit me.
Yeah.
I've been doing it for 14 years.
Yeah,
I mean, I had to keep Aquaman a secret for 3 years almost,
that's right.
and it was just very hard in my career at that time. And Zach saw Game of Thrones and really gave me a shot, but I had to keep it quiet because they were shooting Batman vs Superman, and I wasn't out. Or they were just doing Superman, and I wasn't out till quite a bit later. I only had one scene in that. So just to think back then to go like, gosh, I got to wait 6 years until I get to Justice League. I got to wait 8 years till I get to Aquaman, if it even make. And I got to take this character who everyone laughs at and make this guy and scary because if it fails, I'm like, dude, I'm not. That's not. I don't have any work, let alone. So there was a lot, and I've been with this guy for a long time, and I put a lot of me into it. And that's actually one I sat with. Fassbender. This is definitely a campfire moment, but Fassbender's a good buddy of mine, and we were in London together, and I was just starting to do Justice League, and he goes, "You should let the world in, like show them you, put you into it, because they're gonna want you to play these other things, but you put you in there and take your choices because that's what's gonna connect them. They can't write that shit.
No.
And so when he did that." I would just try to find moments where I could put in things that were honest to me.
Yeah.
That would make me just be honest and make people have fun because I was having fun. And so I kind of kept that going because these movies are hard, you know what I mean? Like, and he's done X-Men and all these other he's done that stuff. And so it was a nice advice just to put a little bit of you in there. And then that's what you were talking about earlier. Yep. But back to it is just going like, It's gonna be sad because we're actually the end of the DCU, and it's like it's a whole new, it's 14 years of that whole universe, and it was fun playing them.
We're all so proud of you. Do you think this is the last time you'll be playing Aquaman?
I think it'll be the last time we play Aquaman. Yeah.
Well, I feel like I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask you about Lobo, because I know you've been eyeing that character for a while.
Well, I originally thought I was gonna be playing Lobo in the very beginning because I got called in. I auditioned for Batman, and I almost didn't do it because I was like, this is silly. It's not going to be me. Why am I auditioning for Batman? Right. But it was just a run-of-the-mill audition.
Right.
And then I get called in right after, and Affleck gets announced. And I'm like, of course I'm going to play the bad guy.
Right.
It's not too many guys that can kick the shit out of those two.
Right,
so I was like, yeah, I'll come in and beat him up and die like I do.
Sure.
Good,
good dyer.
Yeah, you're a good dyer, Mama. And so
You're an incredible villain, by the way. I mean, Dante was...
Well, I don't get to play villain that many times, so that was I've only played villain twice, and so anyways, I got called in the office, and I was just like, "Well, do you know who you're gonna play?" And I'm like, "Yeah, Lobo.
Yeah.
Of course, he's the only one that can fight Batman and Superman." He's like, "What, Lobo?" I'm like, "No, he's not in this universe." I was like, "What? What the hell am I supposed to? What the hell am I supposed to play?"
That's funny.
And man, I wish he would have taped it because he was like Aquaman. I'm like.
Me?
The f*** are you talking about? I mean, I literally think of you instantly as Orm. Like, that's what you would think. And go like, yeah.
Right.
I'm like, how? And he's like, and then he just told me his vision. He's like, you're Polynesian. Like, it would be this, and you're this mix, but you live in Iceland, and you go to these places, and you're this traveler, and you'll punch Batman in the face, and you'll kiss Wonder Woman. You're just like this renegade.
Yeah.
And you're this king who just wants, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. And he's like, I want you to do what you did on, like, so he just built it in this way where I was like, oh, cool. And he's like, I want your tattoo here at Polynesian Tattoos Everywhere. And I was like, holy shit, man, this guy's really been, he dreamed up something pretty, I mean, you got to give it to Zach. He built, it was an unbelievable character that he came up with. And anyways, yeah, but so Lobo is, I used to collect comics, and I don't do so much anymore, but he was always my favorite, and I'm like, always wanted to play Lobo because I'm like, hello, it's pretty, like, it's perfect. It's a perfect role. I mean, listen, if they call me and ask me to play, it's a yeah, but I mean that's a guarantee. So you don't have to worry about that.
Just get my own high five though.
Yeah. So, but I haven't received that call, so I don't want to put any fake news out there. But if they ever call me and ask me to play.
You're in.
Or ask me to audition, I'm there.
I mean,
You're not gonna have to audition.
Well, I know, but we're past that, right?
Audition.
Well,
Thank God.
I hope we get to see that happen because he's so as a '90s kid, like Lobo's so
God.
'90s and
But we
gritty
need
and
it
just
now.
so
We need
good.
it more than ever.
We need it more than ever. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, as Jules Verne said, if you put two ships in an open sea, with wind and the other thing that he says, they'll come together without winter.
That Jules Verne.
Yes, Jules Verne.
Out of way with words.
I hope we get to see, and I have a feeling that we're going to get to see the both of you in the same way those two ships come back together.
I mean, listen, you're a Watchman, and you're in this. I mean, like, he's a chameleon. He's so talented. So I mean,
talented.
and may we work together for the rest of our lives. I'm excited to go on this press tour with him because it's fun, and I want to see it with him too. So hopefully there'll be a space where we can watch it together and giggle.
I love that. Well, thank you both for putting your art and love into these characters and the Aquaman stories and energy. And thank you guys so much for watching. Tickets to Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom are on sale right now on Fandango.com. My name's Naz Perez, and I can finally stop holding my breath. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Wonderful job.
Thank you guys.
That was
Thank
fantastic.
you so much.
You killed it.